I haven't really shared my dating story.
I want to hear it, please. You're the cutest person. Tell the story.
I was on only one dating app. I was working so much, I would allocate 1 hour on a Saturday to like do swiping. I said hi to Warren first. I literally just said H-I.
It's a great way to start.
He responded back. He's like, oh my gosh, you seem like such a catch. Are you real? Are you Christian? Do you want kids? He asked all these questions. And then I gave him my number and we FaceTimed. And basically something occurred. Hopefully people will get to know more of our personalities to see that we are actual
Real people.
real people.
Yeah, with full lives and emotions and struggle. Same things that other people do, except Kayla. Kayla doesn't.
No, some things I do. Some things I don't, though.
Like, you've never had depression. You've never been heartbroken. You protected your heart, too.
Yeah, that was important to me until I knew like it was the right person. Okay, so let's dive into what's happening in the AI world right now.
There's a bunch of things. The things that I want to talk about are Nano Banana. And I will say the AI coming out of Google has blown my mind. Top AI companies are now starting to think about basically programming maternal instincts into AI that would kind of prevent the model from wanting to hurt us. And then another big one is GROK 5 is coming out. Elon's GROK, he said that it has a shot at AGI. I don't know how he gets so much done. Maybe he already has a Neuralink.
Maybe. All right, so we're back for episode 2 of our new podcast.
Yeah, here we are.
Okay, so just to remind you, it is Kayla here. I'm an expert in longevity, and then we have Harper.
I'm an expert in AI and machine learning. We've both been doing our respective fields, working in our respective fields for about a decade. I have a machine learning engineer with 2 degrees from Stanford and started teaching AI recently and have been building AI systems in big companies. And Kayla.
Yes, I mean, I've been doing this for about a decade. Obviously leaning into the female longevity angle at this point. But yeah, I post all my protocols, my labs, all of that online. So that's super exciting. And we just thought it would be really fun to blend our worlds. Obviously, we're best friends. So we have conversations about like longevity and health optimization and AI and tech all the time. And then, we also just wanted a more like personal, informal podcast.
Yeah.
I have a podcast where I interview all medical doctors and like PhDs, but it's very like driven for answers.
Yeah.
And we just wanted to talk about topics that
are
interesting and on our heart. We're going for like all in the female version. So,
but if you're a male listener, you're also welcome.
Yeah.
But we talk a lot about, like, I don't know, we're just going to talk about what's going on in our lives too. Like
totally
AI, longevity, and then, I don't know, navigating. I am 29, I turn 30 next month, October 17.
Yeah.
And Kayla, you're moving into motherhood. I'm single.
Yeah.
Kayla is married and moving into motherhood.
At some point soon, yeah. I have a bunch of international travel in October. And actually, Warren and I were talking about this morning. So October and November and December, there's quite a bit of travel going on. But October is the bulk of it because I'll be in Australia, like Sydney, Melbourne, the Gold Coast, London, New York City.
Melbourne is how you say it.
Oh, Melbourne.
Yeah,
okay.
you don't say the R's. So like although I guess you say Brisbane, not Brisbane.
Yeah.
Melbourne instead of Melbourne.
Yeah. It's kind of like when I was in Stad, apparently. When I thought it was Gestad. So yeah.
How do you spell it?
It's Gstad, I think.
Oh, okay. It's not Gestad.
Yeah, and so it's in Switzerland.
That's like Justa in LA.
Oh yeah.
Everyone says Gusta, but
yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's Justa.
Yeah, I do say Justa though. So
yeah,
that's a good one. But when we were traveling there I was speaking at the Longevity Investors Conference, and we kept asking everyone like, because basically we had to take like every form of transportation. It was like a boat, a plane, a car, a train. It was insane. Like, it's incredibly difficult to get to this.
It was insane.
Like, yes, it was. So Warren and I are on the train and we're like, which way to Gestad? And everyone's like, we don't have that here. Like, what are you even talking about? And I'm like, literally, we're so close. There's no way that people don't know where this is. And then we realized that we were saying it wrong the whole time. So
wait, okay, but like,
I know.
Really act that dumb.
I know. Right. I feel like if someone like, how could you say LA or something in the wrong way? But we would know it was.
We would know like Los
Angeles or something. We'd be like,
yeah. I don't know. That feels like they were just being annoying. Yeah. Like, how could they? Okay, if it's Stad versus Gestad and it's spelled with a G, like, come on, use some reasoning here.
I know. Yeah, but we we weren't getting a ton of help. So we eventually made it. It was super beautiful and it was great. And actually, maybe we jump into some of the interesting things that I heard about there from like a longevity standpoint.
sure.
So this is like really, advanced stuff. So the conferences that I tend to speak at, they range from being either, like health, which is going to be in London soon. I think that is going to be a little bit more focused on the basics, like slower health optimization, longevity practices. But then there's conferences that I speak at that I'm just
When you
like
say slower practices, what are you talking about?
yeah, like more soft wellness practices. Let's
Like
say
not hardcore, like
not like
more accessible to everyone.
yes, exactly. Not like, draining your entire body of plasma and replacing it or something.
Which is so sketchy to me, by the way, but that's okay. Wait, okay. So what's an example of like a softer one, like red light or
or sunlight for red light.
okay,
You know
like
what I mean?
super accessible to everyone, long term
Like their
benefits, not
Instagram
immediate
posts.
overnight.
Right. Their Instagram posts often focus on like, yes, we all know that we should be going to bed, right? Like I go to bed at 8:00. You know this because you stay with me. And
Yeah, you do. I do indeed. Kayla lives by the practices, which not everyone does. She's
her.
real hardcore. Yeah.
I know. It's a big compliment for me.
is.
I think everybody should be doing what they're saying that they're doing, but it's interesting. I mean, in this world in general, sometimes people, do drugs and want to call it wellness, like ketamine or something. And I've not been one to partake in that. I will say I have tried a ketamine spray, but it was not like in a party sense. It was many years ago, probably 7 years ago. I had it prescribed by a doctor and I tried it with like meditation practices.
Okay.
Because I think like ketamine, psychedelics, things like that can be really helpful. But I just think a lot of times they're being used in the wrong ways. So
Right, yeah.
I think the integration and the therapy alongside those types of, more mind altering therapies is important. So like doing it in a doctor's office where you're controlled under, medical supervision, and then the integration like with a counselor or a therapist after is a really important piece of it.
Yeah.
But a lot of people in the health world, wellness world will just be like, we're having a party until 4 a.m. and doing ketamine, but it's fine.
Are you
because
serious?
It's not alcohol. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I like didn't hear about it in the wellness world.
Yeah.
Wow.
I
That's
think-
so interesting.
At the end of the day, people always will have this like
It's definitely in the tech world.
proclivity.
Everywhere. In the
Okay,
tech
yeah.
world. Oh my
right.
God. Everywhere.
But biohacking is also really in the tech world, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Like in the Silicon Valley type,
Yeah, totally. I know it was. I'm not sure if it still is like as prevalent there anymore. I left San Francisco like a year and a half ago. And when I left, I mean, it seems like it was kind of spreading. I know alcohol was not being used as much anymore. I think it still isn't. I mean, alcohol sucks, but everyone uses
Alcohol's
ketamine
dropped.
instead because it feels like alcohol, but without the hangover, I guess. is what
Yeah.
I hear. But I hear people get really addicted.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, anything mind altering, I would just, caution people to be careful with. I used to make posts about like weed like years ago, and I would just get attacked so hard. Like when I made a post about alcohol, it was fine.
Yeah.
But then I would talk about weed and people were super upset. But the actual fact of the matter is that it does, for sleep, for example, a lot of people say that they use like some sort of cannabis or THC for sleep. But it actually increases your resting heart rate at night. So therefore, like
don't rest as
reducing
well.
the amount of deep sleep and REM sleep that you get. And in general, we know that, specifically smoking weed is, pretty detrimental to the brain. So anyway, if you're listening to this, don't drop off yet because we're done talking about
I don't know. This is interesting. I feel like this is like, I don't know. I went through a major weed phase when I was in college. All the smart people smoked weed, which I was very surprised by because in high school I thought it was just people who weren't smart. And then I went to Stanford and all the smart guys were smoking weed. So I went through that phase.
What was their rationale between the smoking?
I don't
of the
think
weed?
it was really a rationale. I think they just did.
They
it.
just listened to it.
Yeah. I don't think any of them still do though. It's kind of like you grow out of it. It definitely like inhibits your, I don't know, productivity in some sense. Some people are more productive on it, but I think just being reliant on any kind of substance is a slippery slope.
Totally. Yeah. I think humans have like a real proclivity to want to change their mental state. Alcohol, drugs, all these different kind of interventions. And where I understand that desire, I just would encourage people to look a little bit deeper inside of themselves, also like plant medicines, things of that nature. There's individuals that I've come across that have done like 50 plant medicine.
Yeah, it's like it's not helping.
Well, is it doing anything for you?
Yeah.
Do you need to explore something else? And I had a time in my life where, I tried ayahuasca once. I would
That is so crazy.
0 out of, it was like in the wellness world as, and I had what most people would define as trauma growing up. You and I have talked about that. And I was looking for ways, to help to just rewire my brain, from that. And I was like, let's try this. And I would rate it 0 out of 10. I think I did it in the wrong time, place, setting.
Yeah.
I did it in a penthouse in New York City, and there was a shaman up
the
there.
worst place.
Horrible. The energy was wrong. I was so upset because once you begin it, you're not allowed to just leave. And I wanted to just.
How would you just leave though? You're like, what do you mean?
Well,
where would you have gone?
That's exactly where I just want to go home. I was
but you're so
well, that's why. Yeah, that's why you're not allowed.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
At first, I thought it wasn't even working. I was like, everyone else is acting wild. It's not even working on me. I'm immune to this.
Yeah.
So I got an extra dose. There was only 2 individuals getting this extra dose. And I don't know. For me, I think everybody can certainly have their own experience. I pray that it's helped a lot of people and that it's, just beneficial for mental health. But for me, I just wanted to get out of there. It was you were sitting on the floor for 12 hours. I was I should have brought a comfy bed. No one told me.
No one. Wow. That's crazy.
I know. So for me, 0 out of 10. But
I've never done ayahuasca.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. The people who have done 1 million different plant medicines, I don't know. I feel bad though because there's so much.
I would say explore God is what I would say. So let's talk about some updates that I pulled up a couple things. Yes, I'm going to use my phone, but a few things that are interesting. Well, really quick, going back to the longevity conference, some of the really innovative stuff that I saw was one thing that was super great is potentially being able to integrate new mitochondria. So we know mitochondrial dysfunction is just running rampant. And if we can integrate new mitochondria, youthful.
Let's tell everyone what the mitochondria do. It's the powerhouse of the cell.
Yeah. The most basic, the most basic is we've all heard this, right? The powerhouse of the cell, the mitochondria create our ATP and our energy. So we have a massive issue with mitochondrial function right now. My hypothesis as to why is, number one, we're so disconnected from our natural circadian rhythm. So people aren't doing things like getting up and getting into nature or sun in the morning, but we're also just stimulated by blue light all day long. So then we stay up super late for no reason, watching Netflix or doing something nonsensical.
Yeah.
And then you're not getting that proper rest. And then the toxins that are in the environment, we know that they're more prevalent than ever. These are all attacks on our mitochondria. Also, people aren't doing things HIIT training, which is great for mitophagy, which is the clearing out of old mitochondria, damaged mitochondria. It can also improve mitochondrial biogenesis. So that's actually improving the health of your mitochondria, essentially. So we're not doing a lot of the things. Also the food, right? Our food supply is absolute trash, in my opinion. Ultra processed food, the majority of people's diets, just in America. And this is all attacking all of our cells, but, our mitochondria. So if we have an intervention, also as we age, we get more mitochondrial dysfunction, right? It's part of the aging process. So if we can integrate new mitochondria into our bodies, that could be a game changer. So that was one thing that was really big at this conference. Also things like gene therapies, right? So there's a gene therapy called follistatin. So it actually, essentially it builds more muscle through the mechanism of suppressing myostatin, I believe. So if anyone has Googled these super buff cows, have you seen these cows?
No.
Okay, they're shredded. I'll have to bring it out for you. But there's a particular type of cow, and they have this genetic variation that reduces their myostatin. So their follistatin goes really high. And these cows are just jacked.
Wait, so is this the new Ozempic?
No.
It's a way to do it without losing muscle mass. I was looking at that recently.
You could do it in combination. So Ozempic is more on the weight loss side, right?
Yeah.
Slowing down the metabolism, increasing GLP-1, which is naturally occurring in the body to lose weight. This is about definitely adding on muscle. So I think the future will be getting a gene therapy, like a standard doctor's appointment or a tune-up. So follistatin therapy is really good for older individuals that have muscle wasting or sarcopenia. And what we could see in the future, so there's all different gene therapies. They basically go in, it's like a vector that can actually modify like a gene expression. So when you turn up your follistatin from a gene therapy, it's literally just increased for about a year or sometimes 2. And then you can put on muscle more easily. So it'll be interesting in the future to see where these gene therapy goes. My friend, Liz Parrish, she's amazing. She was like the first human, I think, to undergo a multitude of gene therapy. She's amazing. She's like beautiful, great speaker. And her son had a condition that she wasn't getting answers for. And she was like, I need to figure out something that can work here. And so she started looking into gene therapies, and she's now the CEO of Bovia Sciences, I believe. So they're exclusively looking at gene therapies. What's that?
Bovia makes me think of bovine, and we're talking about shredded cows.
I know. I don't know where that name came from, but gene therapies will be interesting. I didn't do it for a few reasons. I had follistatin offered. Number one, I don't think I'm old enough. Like I don't have any issues with follistatin.
Yeah.
Also, when you get pregnant, which I'm not pregnant right now for clarity, but when I go to get pregnant, your follistatin apparently doubles anyway. So you'd actually have to have the gene therapy turned off during that time. So yeah, in the future, maybe gene therapies. I think there's a lot of interesting developments in, AI. I saw that there's a new like stethoscope that's an AI stethoscope.
Oh, yes. Okay, tell me.
I don't know all the details.
It identifies like heart issues.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Like heart issues. So, I mean, that's amazing, right?
That.
Because we don't have a lot of minimally invasive ways. We can look at lipids, right? Yeah, I would recommend if you're looking at lipids, do like an NMR panel because that's a lot more detailed than just a standard lipid panel. But outside of going in with a CT angiogram, which has a pretty decent amount of radiation, and then overlaying something like a clearly soft plaque analysis, we don't have a ton of good ways to know if there's actually like plaque buildups outside of imaging. So I'm excited to see these less invasive ways to really identify heart health.
Yeah.
So there's even something with, I think Whoop is in some sort of battle with, the FDA about it being classified as a medical device, I think, because they rolled out, I'm just starting to go back to trying my Whoop. I tried it for like 3 weeks just to see if I could get 100 every night on sleep score, and I did, and then I didn't wear it, but I'm going to go back to it because they have some interesting like biological age calculations on there. But now I think they're like catching like AFib and heart arrhythmias, stuff like that.
Like Apple Watch has been doing, right?
Yeah, there's some issue with it though that the FDA feels like it's becoming a medical like diagnosis device. And
that's an issue?
Yeah, they don't want to be, you can't
just direct to consumer.
Yeah, because you need a medical doctor to like.
Well, why can Apple do that? That's so crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the exact differences, but I'm excited to dive into it and see.
That makes me think of the Palantir Oura thing.
I know. I
haven't looked into it. I need to do it. People are saying that it's tech surveillance, Palantir, Oura's partnership with the U.S. military. Interesting. Department of Defense. I don't know. I should look into this.
Yeah, they're supposedly essentially making all the data so that there's no names or identifying markers, and it's just going to be like population data. But I haven't studied it enough to speak in depth on that topic.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, they've teamed up with Palantir. I'm not sure why. I'm curious. I would look into this. Some users speculated incorrectly that personal health data from Oura's consumers was being shared with the military. Apparently, that's not correct. It says, to clarify, Oura's work with the U.S. military isn't new. Oura's chief executive officer called their relationship with the DoD long-standing in a press release last week. Okay. It says, we're proud to expand manufacturing to the United States and are committed to empowering the Department of Defense with technology that prioritizes security and promotes readiness, resilience, and effectiveness to support service members in their missions. Okay, so are they just like giving it as a perk?
I don't know, but I think that would be great.
Okay, but it says none of your data is being currently used to support military projects. In an email to Mashable, which I guess is what I'm reading, Oura said it would never sell, rent, or share your personal data with any third party without your express consent. This announcement, Oura told its customers, is exclusively limited to our project support for U.S. servicemen and women. Interesting. They're working closely with active duty military to determine factors that impact soldier effectiveness and advancing military readiness. Okay, but then there's Palantir too. So Palantir is separate than the Department of Defense, but they do a lot of military like intelligence stuff. And so they have a separate partnership with Palantir. It's a software company that works with intelligence agencies and defense partnerships and has significant presence in Israel and the US. It says, underscoring its commitment to responsible data practices, Oura will be available to support population-level analysis of risk and readiness. Palantir's FedStart program, which is authorized at IL5, whatever that is, enabling deployment of the Oura enterprise platform in environments with heightened security and compliance needs. Oh, and a clarification, Oura said it does not have a partnership with Palantir, but rather Palantir provides the security layer for some of the DoD's projects with Oura. Okay, yeah, so it's this just the intermediate software layer, particularly projects with rigorous security requirements to operate Oura's platform within secure environments. So basically what this is saying is that Oura doesn't have a direct partnership with Palantir. They work with the Department of Defense, and Palantir is providing the security layer like in between for some of the projects with Oura. So it just like makes sure that, info doesn't get out to Oura. So that's that.
As my husband would say, it sounds like a big nothing burger.
Of course your husband would say that.
Most things he refers to that I have concerns of are a nothing
burgers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guys use that phrase, don't they? I've heard that from some dudes.
Yeah, well, according to my husband, they're just chill guys. And
who is just chill guys? Everyone?
Just guys, yeah.
I would not say that all guys are chill guys.
Well, there's like this TikTok trend, and it was just like, the converse of like women and us like wanting to share our whole day and like everything that's occurred. And I mean, guys are just like chill guys. Like they're just like, I'll just keep it to myself and just go on with being.
Yeah, I think that's why guys have such kind of superficial relationships with each other. I feel like they do. And women are more selective with their friendships, I feel like, because we just go so deep. You can so much more likely, like you could really hurt someone in a female friendship. Whereas like dudes, like they never share anything emotionally. They're just like hanging out. I don't know. Maybe I'm making a sweeping statement, but I hear this from my guy friends. Like I remember I asked someone and I was like, oh, like who's your best friend? And I was like, and he listed like 10 people. And I was like, okay, well, like, who's your best friend? And he listed like a couple. And I was like, do you feel like you can really be yourself with them? And he was like, yeah, like we have a great time. And I was like, no, but like, do you think you can share like your sadness and stuff with them? And he was like, no. Yeah. I was like, oh, shoot. I was like, do you do like anything like that isn't positive together? He's like, no.
I know. Well, there's all these TikToks of like, wives being like, oh, you went out with your friends today. Like, how are they? How's their relationship? Like, are they filtered? And they're like, oh, yeah, they said they like are no longer at their job. And the wife's like, okay, but why? And he's like, yeah, I don't know. I didn't ask that.
Yeah, totally. There's so many things like that. But yeah, I don't know. We just go deep as ladies.
Yeah. Yeah. With the right people, for sure.
Yeah. And on a podcast, I guess.
Yeah.
We're not going that deep.
No, we're keeping, I mean, eventually we're going to have to, right? Because
really?
Like the progression of the podcast.
Yeah, totally. I mean, we're on the edge of territory here. Like even just talking about relatively personal things is like crazy for me.
I mean, I'm way past anything I would normally do. I'm just trying to forget that there's even a podcast going on. And
it's really helpful to not think that there's a podcast going on.
Yeah. Totally. But I think hopefully it'll be good. Hopefully people will get to know more of our personalities. I think I've definitely been, akin to a robot. So I think you've probably gotten akin to AI. So
yes,
it'll be fun for people, hopefully, to see that we are actual
real people. Yeah. With full lives and emotions and struggle with the same things that other people do.
Totally. For the most part.
Except Kayla. Kayla doesn't.
No, some things I do. Some things I don't, though. Like
you really don't.
Yeah.
It's like amazing. Like you've never had depression.
I know.
You've never been heartbroken.
I know.
You've never like what?
I know.
How have you gotten off scot-free in so many? Which Kayla had a really tough childhood. In some ways.
And, moving into professional life, I think I just avoided a lot of those things because I was so busy working for so long. Like
you protected your heart too. You've guarded your heart.
Yeah. That was important to me until I knew like it was the right person. I think it's super important to just do that. But I mean, of course, I think everyone has their own journey. I haven't really shared my dating story.
Yeah. Oh my
that
God.
would be
Tell your dating story.
interesting.
It's so interesting.
And then you'll have to update us on future episodes how dates are going, maybe.
Oh my God. I know. Maybe that's a bad idea. I feel bad for the guys that I would be doing.
Yeah, that's true. Hopefully they don't listen to the podcast.
I'm not going Taylor Swift on this, but
Good.
yeah. But maybe I'll share little tidbits here and there.
Yeah. I mean, I had a really odd dating story like this. Warren actually tells me not to tell people because it's very unrelatable, he says. Well, it's unique because basically I was on only one dating app. It was Raya. And I only went on one date from that app.
Oh, so, you're talking about your thing with Warren. Okay, yeah, I know the story. I thought you were going to tell like a funny dating story, but no, you're right. You literally went on one date.
Yeah. So I went on one date.
Not relatable.
And yeah.
No, continue. It's hilarious.
So I can't really give advice how to make that happen, but I would just like, for me, I was working so much, I would like allocate 1 hour on a Saturday to like do swiping. And I would also say, like, I said hi to Warren first. I literally just said HI. That's like the message I sent.
That's a great way to start.
Yeah, that's all I said. And then he responded back with like a bunch of questions, took my number. He's like, oh my gosh, you seem like such a catch. Are you real? Are you Christian? Do you want kids? Are you real? Asked all these questions. And then I gave him my number and we FaceTimed. And basically something occurred. So he was living in LA. I was in Ohio. And we would see each other every other weekend for like 5 days. So it wasn't like a short period of time. And then we would do long FaceTimes or calls in between. But essentially every weekend, like something occurred. Like the first weekend was just kind of getting to know each other. The second weekend was. But then the third weekend, he asked me to be his girlfriend. And then I think the fourth weekend, we went on a date or something. And then the fifth weekend, we got engaged. And then we got engaged actually in Austin, which is so cute. My husband told me that there was, to get me out of the house before the dinner reservation that I knew we had, he said there was a new Erewhon opening in Austin. And I was like so skeptical of it. But I was like, if there was a new Erewhon, I would know this.
It's so funny that that's how he got you out of the house.
Yeah, he's like, it's so new. And then I'm like looking on the map. I don't see anything.
Weren't your dates at Erewhon?
Yeah, our initial dates were like at Erewhon. And he actually said that he thought about proposing there at one point. But he ended up doing it in Austin, which is like a middle ground between Ohio and LA. And yeah, so couldn't find Erewhon on the map, but just decided to trust him and follow his lead. And yeah, we went to
Did you have any idea?
No.
When you couldn't find the Erewhon?
I really didn't. I was like, I figured it wasn't an Erewhon, but I was like, maybe it's an Erewhon-like thing. And I was fine with
like
that
a pop-up.
Yeah, exactly. But I didn't know because I thought he might have done it. I did have an idea he was going to propose, but I thought he was going to do it as family vacation, which was like a month and a half later. And so that day I was totally caught off guard, which was amazing. So,
aww.
Yeah, and he proposed, and then we had dinner at like one of the 2 healthy restaurants in Austin.
Yeah.
And
sorry, continue.
Yeah, well, we got married. That was like August 4th, I think we got engaged. And then we were married by the 23rd of September.
Coming up.
And we did not have sex before we got married.
That's so amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so and you were really intentional going in. Like you were praying a lot, asking God to bring you your husband, and the number one thing for you was being Christ-centered, right?
Yeah, I mean, I had a extensive list of things I was looking for, but I think the biggest one is just, man, that was being led by God, because it makes marriage so much better. Like I think about like why is the divorce rate so high? And it's like, well, if you're not answering to someone higher than yourself, then we're all selfish individuals by nature. You know, we're all fallen. And if you're not like reporting to God in our case, you know, and responsible for our actions to him. And also your heart just changes, right? Like once you become a Christian and you're really in the word and you read how we're called to be, like I wanted the husband that had that calling on his life, that my husband, you know, completely believes and is passionate about the fact that he has to love me like Jesus loved the church.
Yeah.
And I am passionate and believe that I need to submit to him, which this day and age, you know, women have such an issue with this word. For me, I don't have an issue with it at all. I mean, I've been an independently successful businesswoman my entire life. I've achieved all of these things. Yeah. But I think for me as a woman, the biggest, I wanted someone to actually lead me. And you can only trust someone to lead you if you know that their intentions are pure.
Totally. So. Yeah, that's a big thing too that we've seen, right? Is that, you know, women are getting married to men who are like struggling with various issues
Yeah.
and aren't showing up, and then it's hard for them to respect the men,
Yeah.
whereas like, and then like thus be kind of led by them. And also when they're not connected to God, they have a hard time leading the family, right? Because they're like, it's like aimless. Whereas I see with Warren, he really is such a good leader, and he's really always thinking about like what's the morally right thing to do, and he's such a good like leader to you.
No.
And I just see how well it works as like a strong woman, you know? And yeah, I want that too. I want to be with someone who I feel like can be a really good guide and leader, and not someone that like I would need to bring up, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, not lead you. And you know, there's different types of leadership. You and I have talked about this a lot, but I mean, I have known individuals that can be a great quote unquote leader, right, within a business or something of that nature, and can lead hundreds, thousands of people. But that doesn't mean that you can trust them to lead you for your life, right? For your children, for your marriage. It's a completely different thing. And I just felt it immediately. And I knew, you know, that he was the one, and had all the other, you know, was interested in health. He let me put him in a hyperbaric chamber on our first date. He did an ozone sauna. He was like racing me in any DIPs. Like our dates were like very health conscious, obviously.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's the best. And it's going to be our 2-year anniversary soon. So
it's so exciting.
I know. My husband wrote me this email yesterday. We were on the phone actually when I read it, and I was like, oh my gosh, is today my anniversary? But then
no. I was like, really? Today? I feel like you wouldn't have missed that.
No, I wouldn't have. But I got the email and I was like, oh, did I miss something? And he wrote me this like super cute email, like, best wife ever. I have reservations for us at a longevity friendly time of 2:45 p.m.
It's your dinner reservation?
Yeah, so literally 2:45 p.m. is when I will be having my anniversary dinner next week, or the
in 2
20,
weeks.
Yeah, in 2 weeks. So
23rd, yeah.
yeah, so
maybe 3 weeks, like 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for you guys.
Thank you. I
The
know.
sweetest.
I know. Okay, so let's dive into what's happening in the AI world right now this week.
A lot of things happening. I think the things that I want to talk about are Nano Banana. Google's new, that's how it's like commonly named. It's technically called Gemini 2.5 Flash Image,
Okay.
but it's an image editing model where you can give it an image, you can pass it multiple images and say like, okay, so if you start with one image, you can basically edit it, like remove this person from the picture, add, you know, this famous person from the picture, take this photo. If you add another photo, you know, take the person from, you know, the left photo and add it to the other photo. There's so much you can do. It's basically like Photoshop, but with words. And I posted something comparing it to some of the other major models, like ChatGPT's image model that they have now. And then it's called like Flux 0.1 context or something. That's also a popular one, but Google's Nano Banana just completely blows them out of the water. And so I'm really excited about this for image generation. And then there's also some video models, like Google's VEO is also really good. It's a video model.
Oh, nice.
And so you can pass it, for example, the image that you've, you know, edited with Nano Banana and create video out of it. But it is really, really good at basically photoshopping images. It keeps the fidelity of the original image super high, which is an issue that the other models don't have. Like the other models will like change, you know, the prior image. Or for example, there was one that I gave with the couches. And so there was an image of a couch and said like put a banana or an apple on the couch. And the other models like changed the couch or put the apple on the couch and made it really big.
Yeah.
But then like Nano Banana put it like perfectly to scale, like for the couch. And it's just really good. And I will say the AI coming out of Google has blown my mind.
Oh,
like
great.
Completely. Yeah. Like there's been a couple times this year where Google has released something and I'm like, wow, like that is an extraordinary feat. Extraordinary. One of them was you can create like 3D worlds now, like a generative 3D worlds where you can like say what kind of world you want, type it in, and then suddenly you can like a video game move around the world and like have hands and stuff, like first person.
Oh, wow.
That is insane. Like that is an extraordinary feat. And I'm really impressed also, by Nano Banana. And so yesterday I was playing around with Gemini because my Claude ran out because they have like usage limits or whatever. And I was playing around.
Can you just pay and then get more?
No. Well, for Claude, like I already have the paid tier and then you can still run out.
Oh.
Yeah. And there might be another even higher tier, like a $200 thing. I have to look. But even the $200, there are limits. Like I've heard that there's actually people who like change their sleeping schedule so that they sleep during the day in like spurts so that they're sleeping while they're like not able to use Claude because they have like limits.
Oh my gosh.
I know. No, like people are hardcore like trying to use AI as much as they can in their like subscriptions. Like that's hardcore to change your sleeping schedule. But I tried Gemini and I'm so impressed by it. Like I am more impressed by Gemini currently than Claude. And I mean, Claude is really good for coding. It's really good for vibe coding. Claude Code is really great for that. But yeah, I've just been using Gemini. Gemini also has sources. So I've talked about, with Claude, you have to be careful because they don't provide you sources. So it's really prone to hallucination because it's not like searching the web and then like referencing things it finds on the web. It's just a word generator.
Yeah.
Anthropic's Claude is literally like a word generator. I think they started to kind of beta test having references and searching the web, but it was so bad. I tried it and was like, oh my God, this is god awful. And there are AI companies that search the web, like ChatGPT has a web search option, right? Where it references GROK. Perplexity is really good too. Perplexity is more of like a layer on top of AI models. So Perplexity is interesting because they have lots of large language models that they use and you can kind of swap out which one you're using and then it will search the web and provide references for you. So it's really cool because it's like basically agnostic to the different providers. It doesn't use, as far as I'm aware, like the most cutting edge models from like the AI companies themselves. Like it won't have like the most recent, Claude or ChatGPT or what have you.
Okay.
As far as I'm aware, but they have some versions of them. They use open source models. So you can use DeepSeek there. You can use Llama, like the latest versions of those. But yeah, so Perplexity searches the web, swaps out models. GROK also has a reference feature, ChatGPT, but Gemini does too. And I've found it to just be really good. And in the subscription for Gemini, which is the same price as the subscription for Claude and Perplexity. Currently, I have a subscription for Claude and for Perplexity because I can't use Claude if I need resources, right? Like if I need something to be fact checked, I do need to have one with resources. And by the way, it's still all of the AI that I'm aware of that have resources, they still, and again, AI, we're referring to large language models here. There's so much more AI than that, and we'll talk about that in the coming podcasts. But all of the large language models that search the web and have these references, they also struggle. Like they make things up. They will like have a source that doesn't actually say what they're then telling you the source says. So you actually have to go in and make sure the source says what the model's telling you it says. So you do need this kind of manual intervention. So be aware of that. But anyway, so I currently have Claude and Perplexity, but I might just like cancel those and get Gemini because I feel like I used it way more than I was using Claude, frankly, until I hit the limit for the $20 subscription fee. Plus it has access to a bunch of the other models that it uses and like image generation, video generation. And, there's just so much on Google. I think if you get the like premium tier, that's $200 a month or something, you also get like a Google account YouTube account, like premium YouTube. Like there's just so much that Google has, right? That it can then bundle into its offering. And I will say, I'm so impressed with the models that are coming out of Google. Like really, I've been stunned by them. Like
I love that.
Yeah, jaw dropping. So if you're going to pay for a subscription, you may as well pay for the one that's like a really great model, has resources, and it has all these other amazing models that you can use for image generation. Also, NotebookLM is amazing. Such an amazing tool. You can pass it documents that you have. You can pass it podcasts, YouTube videos, whatever, and it will analyze it for you. It can make its own audio podcast for you. It can make a mind map for you. You can ask it questions about the resources that you've given it. Like, it is amazing. I really recommend everyone try NotebookLM. It's also by Google. But if you have any documents or podcasts that you just have questions about, you want to get resources, but you don't want to listen to the whole podcast, you can pass it in and you can just type in questions and ask it questions that you have. You can have it generate an audio, like research papers. It's really great with research papers. You can have it generate its own kind of podcast about the research paper. So yeah, Google has pretty amazing tools. NotebookLM is one of them. So that's exciting. Another update is that Geoffrey Hinton, who has been one of the biggest names kind of afraid of AI, saying that AI is going to be the end of us, was recently in an interview with Katie Couric, and he was saying that he's actually less afraid. Like, he's been so vocal about being afraid of AI and it's going to be the end of us or whatever. I think he literally said it at his Nobel Prize speech.
Wow.
And he won the Turing Award and the Nobel Prize for physics. So the Turing Award is commonly known as the Nobel Prize for computing. So Geoffrey Hinton won it alongside with Yann LeCun. They won the same year, the Turing Award. And Yann is like the opposite. He's like not worried about, extinction risk. He's like, AI is so far away from AGI. There's so much more that we need to do. We're not going to get to AGI with LLMs, which I completely agree with. And I tell people all the time, like, large language models cannot be AGI. Like, that doesn't even make sense. Like, the engineering of it doesn't make sense, that you can just expand a large language model, this word generator, to do everything. That doesn't make sense. You need to combine it with other models. So Yann LeCun, who runs AI at Meta, he was head of research at Meta. He's some title, official title in that sense. Anyway, Geoffrey Hinton, who is the opposite of Yann, he's been very fearful. He was on an interview with Katie Couric, and he said recently that he's not afraid because top AI companies are now starting to think about basically programming maternal instincts into AI. And that would kind of prevent the model from wanting to hurt us.
Yeah,
and it's amazing. It's so interesting because I actually know a top researcher at one of these companies, like one of the top AI companies, who has been talking, he was talking to me about this 5 years ago. And we were sitting and he was like, yeah, how do you think we could do that? And he was just kind of brainstorming with me. Really, really smart guy. But people have been thinking about this for a while. But I'm glad that Geoffrey Hinton is now less fearful in that sense.
That's great.
Yeah. So that's big. And then another big one is GROK 5 is coming out. So Elon's GROK is the AI model made by XAI. It's a large language model.
By the way, side note real quick, apparently Elon has his own town now in Texas. Did you see that?
It's a town. I know he has a school.
Well, but he, I believe, was able to name a town SpaceX or something of that nature. And so now they actually have a town because he's obviously setting up all of his companies here in an area of Austin, a little bit outside of Austin. But
I don't know how he gets so much done. I really
and
don't.
tweets a million times a day, right?
Yeah, and I heard that he responds to texts instantaneously.
Really?
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not
how? I don't understand.
I know.
Maybe he already has a Neuralink.
Maybe.
Honestly, that's the only explanation I can think of.
And really great teams. I want him to, I hope our paths cross at some point because he's pretty anti-longevity right now, I think.
Why?
I just don't think maybe personally he doesn't have any interest in living longer and doesn't see it as being one of the most existential threats, I guess.
Yeah.
Obviously he's really leaning into.
Well, it's interesting he says that because he's so worried about us losing population.
Yeah.
So if we just lived longer, that wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because it's antithesis to his problem. If we live longer, then what he's worried about isn't an issue so much.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, I think obviously we have a lot of Jeff Bezos pouring in a ton of money to longevity, a lot of different, of the top billionaires doing this, but Elon doesn't seem to be on that train. So it would be fun to just chat about why.
Yeah, totally. I'm sure you guys will cross paths. I'm not be surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of like in the scene. But yeah, GROK 5 is coming out. He said that it has a shot at AGI. It was trained
Interesting.
with 100,000 Nvidia chips, the most cutting edge ones. I remember like a year ago, they were setting up their data center, and I guess now GROK 5 is on the way. I'm skeptical about the AGI claim. It seems
Can you
like
explain so how many chips and what is that? Like
100,000 Nvidia chips.
and what
They
does
were
that
probably
mean? Is it like
H100s.
processing power? Or?
Yeah, great question. I'm glad that this is so great that you're on here with me. So basically, NVIDIA GPUs are the little compute chips that go into machines that train AI models. So basically, your laptop has a CPU in it, which is a central processing unit, and it is really good at doing tasks sequentially, like one after another, like your laptop. It helps kind of orchestrate tasks, right?
Yeah.
The GPU, what it's really good at is running tasks in parallel and running computations in parallel. So what AI researchers found originally they're called graphics processing units because they were originally made for graphics, because graphics have a lot of like matrices, because they're like basically multiplying matrices, because the way that images are represented is, I mean, you can kind of think of it like a picture, is 2D, and then graphics would be like 2D, but plus a time series. So it's like kind of 3D, right? And then there's lots of computations that need to be done on those like 3D boxes. Yeah, right? Because it's like a square of like your 2D image, but then it's added this time series kind of, so it makes it 3D.
Are images in AI like read as numbers or no?
Yes, precisely. So what they have, it's 3D in the sense that there's the time, but then there's also the channels. So images are broken, like a single kind of 2D image in compute is represented in 3D because it has 3 channels for red, blue, and green, RGB, so red, green, and blue. And so basically it's like 3 different squares stacked together, and each square has the numerical value for red, for green, for blue in that pixel.
Got it.
So then when you smush them together, you get, full spectrum of colors with a picture. Does that make sense? Because you have all the pixels and all their red, blue, and green values.
Yeah.
So they're represented as matrices, which are basically like rectangles of numbers that are high dimensional. So you can't really think of it past like 2D or 3D, but you can kind of think 3D rectangles, right? And then they are multiplied together. And so GPUs are really good at those kinds of operations, like working with these matrices. And so when AI researchers were building AI models, they realized that it was the same kind of structure. AI models have matrices. They're like called tensors in the AI context, but they're super high dimensional, kind of like rectangles of numbers. So they don't actually look like rectangles, but they kind of do. Basically, AI researchers then repurposed these GPUs for AI tasks. Now, so Nvidia was originally made for graphics. So it's always, the GPUs have been used in the gaming world for a long time. Nvidia, then as AI has become more and more prevalent, they're now making specialized chips for AI. So they're like GPUs, but they're like AI specialized GPUs. So they have like special kind of features on the chip itself that optimize for AI specific tasks. So like different types of compute that is commonly done in AI, so that they become even faster, even more efficient, more energy efficient, faster, what have you. Their recent advancements in efficiency have made the chips 100,000 times faster. I just released a video on this. So yeah, NVIDIA has like a whole array of things, but basically these chips, H100s, are AI specialized GPUs. They're AI specialized chips. And they're expensive and hard to get access to. But basically, AI models are trained on these chips. So the training takes a lot of compute. Because you're not only running the model forward, like when you run a model, you run it one way and then you have your output. But when you're training, you're constantly going back and forth because you're running it through, then you're learning like, where did I mess up? And then you propagate all that information backwards to update the weights of the model, the neurons of the model. Basically, you're changing the neurons and how they function, and kind of how they're connected in a sense, as you're learning. And so you're going forward and then you're going all the way back. And it takes a tremendous amount of compute to do this and to learn in this way. And so they basically, it's kind of known that the more chips you have, the more expensive the chips are, the more efficient they are, more powerful, the more data they can process, the better your model is going to be. Like that's pretty much the view across the board. And so these big companies, and something I said before, when, so wrapper companies are companies that query AI models, and they don't actually have an AI model themselves, but they're basically have an interface to work with AI models. I've said for a long time that they've kind of been scoffed at, and and I have always said, like, you're not going to compete with the big companies in terms of building a large language model that does really well, because you just can't really afford the chips and the compute and what have you. And so these big companies, they're all like competing and buying all the Nvidia chips and buying these massive data centers. But yeah, so recently wrapper companies, which anyone can build, like you don't need to be a machine learning engineer. You just use an existing model and write code to like query the existing model. Wrapper companies recently, Andreessen Horowitz just said, which is arguably one of the most successful venture capital firms in the world, just announced that they think the term wrapper company is like obsolete, like it's dead. They think it's silly, and you shouldn't be saying that about AI, because AI is kind of like electricity. Like you wouldn't call something like an electricity wrapper, Anyway, I hope that that's made sense. But so anyway, Grok 5 was trained on 100,000 H100s, which were at the time when they were bought like the most cutting edge chips. I would have to confirm. Maybe he updated them. Maybe they're not H100s, but I remember reading somewhere that that's what they were. He was making a data center with that many. But I am still skeptical about the AGI claim, to be honest.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah, we will see. Well, I feel like we should make this pod like an hour. And
how far? I was just talking. Okay.
Yeah. So I feel like,
yeah.
we wrap up for this episode. It's also a Friday. I feel like we should get like 5 to 10 episodes under our belt before we release it.
No.
What?
No, because this is going to be old news in like 2 days.
Oh, yeah. That's a good. Okay. So basically, we need to work this weekend and figure out our name and figure out the cover and figure out our like intro.
Yeah. I mean, we can do it today too.
Yeah. Okay.
But you want to chill today?
Well, I have changed my mind on sourdough bread. So we're going to go get.
Yeah.
I know. So we're going to explore that. There's apparently like this famous.
Wait, let's talk about this really fast. It's a good way to close because this is fun. And yeah, so sourdough bread, Kayla for a long time has not eaten carbs, basically.
Yeah.
Like you have like
plant carbs,
berries,
yes, but like not.
Plant carbs. That's like some keto-ish,
Plant carbs, berries, but not a ton of like actual carbs, and definitely not bread. I had one piece of sourdough on my honeymoon. I felt bad about it for like 3 days.
It's like a little bit like OCD, know? But I go hard on the carbs.
Yes.
And I eat so much sourdough because I heard from a nutritionist that the sourdough, if it's like legit sourdough, it is so good. Like it doesn't affect your blood sugar, which is what actually makes you fat.
Well, we're gonna test it.
Well, I'll tell you with my lean physique that I have tested it, and I'm leaner than I've ever been, eating more carbs than I've ever eaten. But apparently also if you freeze it, so like you buy sourdough bread and then you freeze it, it like does something with the starch, whatever. And so it basically has like no impact on your glycemic index, which is insane. And also if you use a ton of butter, which I do, I'm obsessed with butter. I use it like
I also love butter.
Yeah, it's crazy. And you've seen how much butter I use. Like,
it's like butter with a little bread.
Yeah. I used to be way more stressed about food, and I would think that putting a lot of butter on your bread would make you gain weight. And I will tell you, I'm like so lean now, and I eat so much butter. I don't think about my calories at all. I eat so much bread, And it's all just the
Well,
weightlifting.
I don't think you eat so much bread though.
Girl,
I wouldn't say that.
you haven't seen me at home.
Okay. Well, I have seen you at home, but maybe you're like dialing back the bread when I'm there or something.
Oh, interesting. Okay, yeah. I typically eat a lot of bread.
Like you'll have times that you have it throughout the day, but it's not like you're just eating bread all throughout the day.
Oh, yeah. No.
Yeah. And you do eat like,
I eat bread every day though.
yeah, but you do eat like very healthy. We eat very similarly outside of the bread. But my concern has been like, everything that I do, it requires so much intense research that I have to have time to do that research.
Yeah.
And currently I've been trying to find a 0 VOC floor and like trying to outfit my home, and I'm excited to do a home tour, by the way, because I've seen another home tour as of late. And I'm like, okay, we're 5 years late to the party and it's half of what I'm doing for my home. So when I do my home tour, guys, I'll make sure to put it out on my YouTube channel and you'll see the level of detail that I have. Like a gym floor, most of them off gas, all these VOCs and they're plastic and etc. So I've been deep in the weeds of like, I was going to do a cork floor, which was going to be amazing. But because we have such high humidity and heat here in Austin, the cork floor will warp. So we finally found an option. But sourdough has been on my list of things. Also, I could have made it myself, that's what I prefer because as you know, I mean, I make all my meals, but I just haven't had the time either to like become sourdough aficionado. So I have been concerned about fake sourdough, which is a very real thing because I did 2 podcasts with 2 registered dietitians last week. And they said definitely, but they told me what to look out for. So they said it should only be 3 ingredients.
Okay.
It shouldn't include yeast, and that's a real sourdough. So
the ingredients are
water.
Water is an ingredient.
Yeah, water,
Salt
and flour, or wheat, I guess.
I feel like there's another ingredient.
She said that's all it should be. If you have to add the yeast, that means that you're trying to like rush the ferment.
That's different.
But that should happen naturally. You shouldn't be adding the enzymes in there as it ferments and it like becomes more
maybe it just makes it go
probiotic-ish. Yeah, exactly. If you're adding the yeast and stuff, you're making it rise faster. So it's not that natural. Part of the reason why there's less gluten, from what I understand, and someone please, that's a super sourdough aficionado, drop it in the comments. But from what I understand in my light research and interviews is that if you are adding the yeast or adding enzymes, things like that, you're rushing the process and then you're not reducing the amount of gluten in the way that it should be.
I see. Okay. So the sourdough I bought from Sprouts yesterday, has enzymes in it, so probably not good.
Probably sped up and not, there's also like white bread companies out there that are like
too like dense to be legit.
Yeah.
Sourdough.
So we're going to go check out. Apparently there's like this famous spot. So,
all right. Well,
all right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in to another episode.
And we have a vulnerability hangover now, but
we can discuss that off pod, but have a great weekend.
Bye.
Bye, guys.